Hello, everyone. We are here. This is Alex,
This is Ian.
and we're gonna record a podcast about Avatar, episode 2,
The
Electric Boogaloo.
Avatar Returns.
The Avatar Returns. Ian, why is it called the Avatar Returns?
Because the Avatar Returns. What? Why'd you ask? That's the title
Oh,
of the episode.
dude, you just blew my mind. Okay, so we start off,
Yeah, I'm an airbender.
and you're an airbender.
No, get it? You
because
blew my mind.
Yeah. All right. So we start off at the beginning of the episode, and everyone's pissed off at Aang. Sokka's like, "I knew it! You're a traitor!"
It's the Actually, the episode begins with the aftermath of the Fire Nation booby trap. The Fire Navy ship that Katara and Aang go into.
I mean, it just like shows the booby,
Flare.
the booby
It's
going
like a
off.
big flare. I don't
Right,
know how
and-
that's a booby trap. That's just a flare.
Yeah, like who boobies their ship to make a flare?
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean-
very convenient for Zuko and for the episode to take place.
But Aang's like, nah, Sokka, it ain't my fault. We were on that ship and we boobied the booby trap. We boobied right into it. Sokka didn't want to have anything to do with that. He's like, you're a traitor. The traitor just admitted it. You must leave the village.
You're banished.
And everyone cried. Katara's like, I'm gonna leave with him. And then their grandmother's like, get out of my village, you thoughts.
Yeah. So they decide that they want to leave, but the moment when they're about to leave, what happens? Oh, Zuko and the
Well, no, when they're about to leave, Aang says, I don't want to come between you and your family. And then he leaves,
Yeah.
and he just like goes into like this ice sculpture.
yeah, just takes a chill. He
Yeah.
chills out for a little bit. I think Appa's sleeping.
And then Zuko's like, troops, the Fire Nation could be on our shores at any moment. We must prepare for the attack.
You said Zuko.
Sokka.
Sokka, yeah. Wait, so Aang sees the ship, the Fire Navy ship with Zuko and Iroh on it, and he says, "Oh no, I gotta help them." And so he goes and gets one of those penguins, and he sleds on them all the way to the village.
And in the meantime, we get this really cool scene where Sokka and Zuko are both like getting ready, and they're just completely mirroring each other.
Yeah, in terms of their just their
Preparation for
right.
battle.
And also like Zuko makes a big deal out of honor earlier on the first episode, and Sokka keeps on mentioning like what his father told him to do, as in to protect the village, and how it's all, he feels this obligation to protect people, and they both have this thing around honor, and it was really cool to see that mirrored with both of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallel between Sokka and Zuko within this episode. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, not like they're both like the young eldest son of leaders of opposite sides of the war. So I didn't really notice that at first when I was watching the series as a kid, but like
But we were kids.
there's very clear parallels, and like it's kind of like hinted at a little bit, and like the fact that Zuko tries to, I mean, not Zuko, Sokka tries to fight Zuko, and he gets absolutely destroyed. And there's just like this one scene where Zuko's running, Sokka's, I'm getting them all
So wait,
mixed up.
Sokka's running at Zuko.
Sokka's running at Zuko with a spear, and Zuko just like breaks it apart and just whacks him in the head.
Yeah, it's funny. He just whacks him a bunch.
And then later on, Sokka does the same thing to Zuko.
Wait, no, but Sokka does throw the boomerang, and it misses at first, but on the recoil,
Like the return?
the return, yeah, it hits him, and he's like totally caught off guard. This is Zuko getting caught off guard.
Yeah, but then Zuko got really pissed off. And it didn't really amount to anything, honestly. It just flustered Zuko a little bit.
Yeah, but he's consistently flustered throughout the. He was just flustered the first episode. He's just very angsty. He's an
Yeah.
angsty teen.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
So Zuko has like this funny thing where he grabs Gran, and he's like,
Well, before that,
he's like,
it's you.
Avatar should be this old.
Yeah, that's right. The master of the four elements, blah blah blah. Like he has this perception of what Aang is that is just totally off,
Yeah.
and it's just funny because we know that as the audience, but he does not. But also, Zuko seems not really to care about other people. Like he cares about him and his honor with his father. And
Honor.
you can tell like he just like there's like the village is very small and they're basically like entirely defenseless. And Zuko is just like there's just a bunch of South Pole villagers in this group, and Zuko just throws fire at like them from above, like as a threat, and it's just like, what a jerk, because they can't do anything about it, and there are children there, and I was just,
Yeah, like he's threatening a group that's entirely consistent of women and children. Because at this point when he's threatening them, Sokka's got his face planted in the snow.
yeah, the only soldier is Sokka, and he's
Clearly not very well trained, considering the fact that Zuko, who is touted as not being very good at fighting, absolutely destroys
Right.
Sokka.
yeah, that's true. So, so Aang shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aang shows up on the Penguin, and he tries to help out.
It like goes
But-
right under Zuko's legs.
Yeah, what happens is, it was funny. Aang like gets snow all over the young kids in the village, and they're like, at first there's like a pause of just them covered in snow, and then they like laugh, and it's kind of weird. Like Katara mentions earlier in the episode, Aang brought fun to the South Pole. All we do is think about the war and this conflict. Like we don't have any more fun, and Katara does have a point, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And like when Aang leaves for the first time, Katara gets like really upset, and she's like yelling at Gran, like, "Are you happy? My only chance of being a waterbender's gone."
Oh.
So like Katara is just like becoming increasingly more against the village. And then it's funny when Aang comes back, Sokka's just like begrudgingly like, "Thanks for coming,"
Yeah.
because he realized that he was like not gonna be able to handle
But-
Fire Nation.
But at that
troops.
point, like, Aang and Zuko are kind of dueling each other, and Aang like wants to be peaceful about it, so he surrenders, which is strange. Like you'd think that's being short-sighted, and as he's just a child. You could also chalk it up to like him being, having a monk background, like kind of trying to be a
What does that
pacifist.
mean?
What?
Chalk it up. Like, I know what it means, but like, where does that come from?
I don't know.
What kind of a phrase? Like, chalk it up. Anyways,
I guess like when you're chalking something up, you're kind of putting stuff over it. Like you're acting as though it's
Oh.
more than it really is.
okay,
I don't know.
it's a weird phrase.
Yeah,
We just like don't even think about stuff like that.
that's true. We use it all the time, but we don't think about it. That's weird. Okay, anyway, Aang is short-sighted. He's just a child. So he goes on to the ship. So because he says to Zuko, if I go with you, will you leave the village alone? Will you stop terrorizing the village? And Zuko says yes. I don't know why Aang believes him, like at all.
But I mean, Zuko does follow through with it. So,
Yeah, that is true.
like, what was Zuko gain from burning a group of women and children? Like, that wouldn't really
Yeah,
help him.
that's-
They're
that-
not a threat in the war.
Right. So, so what happens next? Aang is on the ship.
Yeah, and like he's handcuffed, and there's these two guys. Well, first off, Zuko like gives the staff to Iroh, and he's like, "This would be a great gift for my father. Put this in my quarters." And then Iroh just pawns it off to this random soldier. He's like, "Would you mind putting this in the quarters?" And Iroh just goes and takes a nap.
Yeah, I remember while we were watching it, I was telling Alex, like, it's interesting how, because we've seen the series before, like the whole thing, how Iroh really develops as a character in terms of, like, at first he's very much so comic relief, and later in the series he gains a substantial role as a very wise person, I think. So Aang starts to kind of just mess with all the soldiers on the ship.
He's like, "I could take you with my hands tied behind my back," and then the soldier's like, "Silence!"
But yeah, he does take them, and he just tries to find his staff, and eventually he finds it with this open door, but it's really Zuko's room, and Zuko closes the door, and they start dueling.
And Aang's like at first just playing around with Zuko. He's hiding behind his back. Zuko doesn't really have any hand in that fight, but then Zuko starts getting the advantage, and like it's like spinning around. It's a really cool fight to look at, and you can see the two swords that Zuko will later on use, and it's
Wait,
a very
when?
interesting. Like
He uses
you can
swords?
see that. Yeah, remember? Like we literally watched Zuko alone the other day.
Oh, he uses those
Yeah, the
swords?
dual swords. The dual swords are literally on the wall
Wow.
in his quarters, which is like this is the second episode, and it's completely like showing that they planned ahead that much.
Wow.
And it kind of tips off like
It's like
who,
mid-second
who
season.
someone is later on in the series. Like we have this whole mystery thing, but if you looked right in the scene, you could tell.
Yeah, you do have a good point.
Like it's such a short like thing to see that most people won't even notice it, but looking back on it, it's really nice to see in retrospective.
Oh, so what happens? Oh, so Aang just starts messing with Zuko, and somehow Zuko's bed just becomes like something that Zuko is on, and then Zuko's just slammed against the walls with Aang's
Yeah,
airbending.
Aang like floats him up to the ceiling and hits him in the head.
Yeah, that would hurt.
So then Aang tries to escape with his staff, but then Zuko just like chases after him, jumps really high,
and really far as well. Like that was a good jump on
grabs
Zuko's
him by the
part.
leg.
And they fall.
They land back on the ship.
So almost immediately after that, I think immediately after that, Appa,
Yeah.
Appa and Katara and Sokka, they show up to save Aang, and so what happens? Doesn't Zuko get Aang in the water?
Well, like Aang falls in the water, and then
His
he
avatar
comes back up
state.
in the Avatar state. This is the first time that we even see the Avatar state. We don't even really
That's
know
not
what it is
true.
at this point.
Oh, I guess
Yeah,
you're
it
right.
is.
No, we see it
Okay, well, we see it when it's the flashback,
to Aang being frozen in the water.
but it was a lot less pronounced in that scene.
I don't know. That was really cool.
This is the first time that we see it in like real time.
Right. That's true. So, so there's the fighting, and Aang's in the water, and he doesn't know how to do water bending yet, but his avatar state, it does, like, he can do things that he can't usually
Right,
do.
because he has the knowledge of all the past avatars.
Yeah, and so which is really, really cool. Like, he's just, like, that's like a master level move for a waterbender, and Aang doesn't know how to waterbend at all. And, so,
Yeah, Sokka even says, now that's waterbending.
yeah, and Katara's just, like, amazed. She doesn't really say anything, she's just amazed. And so, Aang just demolishes all the fire guards and Zuko and throws them all overboard. But Zuko isn't thrown overboard. He's almost.
Yeah, like we think he's thrown overboard, and that he's gone. Well, he does go in the water, I'm pretty sure. But he comes back pretty quickly when Sokka tries to grab Aang's staff, and then Zuko comes back up, and then Sokka does that little tap thing on the head that
That
Zuko did to him earlier.
Right. It was funny. It was like, take that.
So then Zuko falls back into the water, and then Aang's all like burnt out, so he can't really do anything.
He's
and
like,
then
thanks for saving me.
Katara and her infinite wisdom realizes I will not be able to control my waterbending looking forward, so she looks away from the firebenders
Yeah.
and then somehow freezes
No,
them.
she tries to like tries to like defend herself against the fire guards, and she just misses entirely. But then she's like, oh, if I go in that direction and do the same motion, then I can freeze them. And so she freezes them, which is really, it's just funny that like she's so inexperienced, and she still figures it out anyway.
And then Sokka's like, I don't like all this magic. I just got my boomerang. I'm just a guy with his boomerang. Because somehow his feet got frozen too.
Yeah, because Katara freezes.
So he like
Freezes
breaks
him by
apart
accident.
his icy feet, which was that could have like totally shattered his foot.
Yeah,
He's lucky that
he's just
he
like
has legs at this point.
hurling his axe thing at his feet.
It's his. He was using his boomerang.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he. Oh,
Yes, he
yeah,
was.
you're
He
right.
doesn't
He
have
was.
his axe thing anymore. He loses it.
What?
I'm pretty sure.
So okay. So then Iroh. So Aang. So Aang, Sokka, and Katara are like on Appa now, leaving, and Iroh comes outside with Zuko.
I was like, "What is going on?"
Like,
I
he
was in
was,
the
like-
middle of my nap.
He was like sleeping. It was just funny. Like it's comic relief, but it's
And
still
then Zuko's like, "Shoot him down," and him and Iroh do like the same.
motion.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. And Aang just totally deflects it with his like staff, and basically it's kind of like an
He
avalanche.
creates an avalanche. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really cool. He's like, Zuko says afterward, "I'm not going to underestimate the Avatar anymore, just considering how much harm he did," and which is strange. Like what he thought of the Avatar, he thought there was this old guy that was a master of all the elements, and he was trying to prepare for it. I don't know why Zuko thought he would be able to handle that.
I mean, he was able to handle Aang pretty well at this point.
Not really.
Yeah, he was.
He literally.
He had Aang on the ropes. All Aang was able to do when they were fighting, like once they were on the ship, is like deflect his attacks. He was saved by Appa coming in.
He was He could have.
He got knocked off the ship. If he didn't have the Avatar state, he was screwed.
But he does. That's the point. That
Yeah.
he does have the Avatar
I
state.
mean, I guess that's true.
Hmm.
But considering, like, if it was just a 1v1, I'm pretty sure that Zuko would have won that
Oh, I
fight.
disagree.
Because Zuko came back on the ship pretty quickly, and then Aang was like defenseless for like a couple seconds. So Zuko could have just like fireballed him.
I feel like Aang has a lot of opportunities to harm others, but he chooses not to. Like the majority of his attacks are counterattacks.
Yeah.
Like they're also just very much so defensive. I feel like he doesn't want to harm anyone.
Yeah, which is why I think that Zuko would win in the fight.
I mean, Zuko is so just aggressive. Okay. Anyway,
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting is that Iroh is like taken out of the fight, which is very necessary.
for the
the
success
plot,
of
because there's no way that they would escape if Iroh was not sleeping on the job.
considering how powerful he is.
Because Iroh's literally, I mean, aside from Fire Lord Ozai, he's probably the strongest
Right.
firebender in the entire world. So, like,
Which
there's
you don't
no-
find out till much later, but
right? But there's no way that, like, if Iroh was trying, he would have let Aang get away.
it's interesting how Iroh. It turns out that Iroh's so strong, and he's also suffered so much, like struggled as well, and I think that partially shows why he's so strong. But anyway, so Aang and Katara want to go to the North Pole to learn how to waterbend,
Yeah.
because Aang needs to learn, and Katara wants to learn because she wants to be a waterbender.
Zuko wants to knock some heads off.
And no, Sokka.
Shit, I keep mixing them up. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's just because their names are so similar.
That's true. But Sokka, yeah,
I can't believe I keep doing that.
it's whatever.
It's pathetic, Ian.
It's not.
What kind of a person am I to mix up these two young, teenage ponytail men? Like, how do I do that?
They're very similar. Like in terms of their personalities, even they're very similar.
Yeah. So Sokka wants to knock some heads off.
Oh, so Sokka wants to do that, and they want to go to the North Pole. So, but Aang makes he's like we have important business to attend to, and so he gets out a map. I don't know where he gets the map
So if
from.
we gotta ride these koi fish, we gotta ride on these hog monkeys. They don't like to be ridden on.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it anyway because
It's fun.
it's exactly. And so they go, and that's how it ends.
I want to talk real quick about the
It's-
scene where Gran's sending them off because like we kind of skipped that part.
Oh, you're right.
So basically, Katara's like yelling at Sokka for being an idiot, and he's like, "You don't want to help him. You don't want to do anything." And then Sokka's like, "Literally, look at me right now. I have a boat."
Yeah, like Katara is not really looking at what.
So like
what he's
Katara's
doing.
expectations of everyone have like completely been shifted at that point, and then Gran comes over and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" So they think that they're gonna get caught, and then Gran just like gives them
Like supplies.
yeah, and
Like a blanket of some sort.
she says like a line which is basically your paths with the Avatar have become intertwined at this point. Like she's saying that their destinies have become intertwined. This is like a line that shows up a ton of times in the previously on Avatar segments. So it's like really important in terms of the plot. It easily summarizes like what that like the first two episodes have created.
This journey.
And the fact that Gran has like this wisdom enough to let them go on instead of just trying to protect them. Like she's sending them off into this dangerous world.
But she knows, like, that's the only way you'll really learn. Like, Aang says it briefly when he's going on to the Fire Navy, the abandoned Fire Navy ship. Like, you got to get rid of your fear in order to learn new things and to do new things. Go outside your comfort zone. You have to, like, accept the fear. And kind of, because the grandma, Gran, she's so old, I guess she has the experience and she knows similarly. Like, we're all on our journeys and we have to sometimes just go for it, even though it seems very dangerous.
Yeah. I really liked how there was just like a lot of little details within this episode that like you don't really notice when you're watching at first because they're not really important. Like, I don't know. I didn't remember the watchtower getting falled off and then
I don't know.
Sokka's just all upset about it. And like
It just shows how fragile like their lives are. Like
Yeah.
they have no defenses. We talked about this earlier, but like the whole village is disconnected entirely from the North Pole. there's no soldiers except for Sokka and these children, but they can't do anything. They're children. It's just interesting.
It's really strange how small the South Pole is in comparison to the North Pole.
Yeah, we learn later at the end of the season how big the North Pole is because they get there, Aang, Sokka, and Katara. But the South Pole is like how many people?
Like the South
15?
Pole is like a legit city, and then
Yeah,
this is just. I mean, wait, did I say the South Pole's a legit city?
I don't know.
The North Pole's whatever I said. The
I
North
think you
Pole's
said
a
North
legit
Pole.
city.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the South Pole's just like a little village. So it's just weird how there's such a stark contrast between like the two different places.
Yeah. So, I'm really excited about like seeing the development throughout the series
Yeah.
of not even the development, but like Aang mentions how he wants to have fun, and even though he's on this journey of growth, like learning the different things and trying to save the world, like he still wants to have fun along the way, and I think that speaks to like how people live in like the real world. Like even though we're always growing, we should also have fun in the process of growing.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
So Ian, if we compare this episode to the first episode, which one do you think is the better episode?
I don't know. I think this episode really starts the journey. The first episode is kind of like
It needs to introduce everything.
right.
Yeah.
Introduce the ideas of what the Avatar is and what's going on. Like for example, the opening for the first episode is different from the opening for the other episodes. Like what Katara says.
Right, because Katara has like the whole spiel to introduce, and this one it's just like the. Did they even have They had it, right?
What?
Or did they even
I
have
don't-
the intro?
I don't know. I don't.
Because I feel like this must have been. I'm pretty sure this was like a 2-part introduction, like when it
Yeah.
aired at first. So I don't think it had the
and the intro at all.
right.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really necessary, because like the last episode was the only one that had to be continued on it.
Honestly, I just preferred this episode more because there was a lot more fight scenes and because the journey actually starts.
You like
Like-
those battles?
There are things happening in this episode a lot more.
Yeah.
Although I did like last episode with all the penguins, like they're slitting the penguin.
The penguin is like really funny when it left because he like waddles off.
Yeah, he just like is totally oblivious. Like he doesn't care about like the whole conflict of the war. The penguin's just walking away.
Okay, I was thinking, Ian.
What do you?
So you know how like last week we were talking about this tiger thing that just like showed up for one scene and never like was mentioned again?
What?
There was a snow tiger in the last episode. You remember?
No.
And I was just like, why is there just like this snow tiger that is just like in the village like with all the other people and it's just not addressed at all?
In the village?
Yeah, it was just sitting there with all the other people. We talked about it last week.
I don't remember this.
Okay, well, anyways, I was thinking maybe it's like supposed to be some.
You talking about those walrus things?
No, there was like this tiger thing. There's no walrus thing.
There was like the things that were yelling when Aang like shoots that light beam up in the air in the first episode. They're like yelling.
Is
Or
that
like,
what that thing was?
I don't know. They were like seals.
I was thinking that it might be a precursor to a polar bear dog or something like that. Or that it was
Oh wait,
sitting
isn't
there.
that like
That-
Appa?
No, the polar bear dog's what Korra uses.
Oh yeah, but that's much later.
But
I mean,
I don't know.
that's a whole other series.
Well, I mean, it's connected to it's very clearly a sequel. Ian.
It's interesting. Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh,
what?
we need to talk about what Aang says at the end.
What did he
Because
say?
Katara and Sokka are like questioning why he didn't tell him that he was the Avatar.
That's true.
And Aang says it's because he doesn't want to be the Avatar, and I thought that was a very interesting thing to say, and it like is a clear like showing of like who Aang is as a character at this point, that he doesn't like the responsibility of being an Avatar. And
I mean,
just
he is
wants
just
to be
a
a
kid.
normal kid.
Right.
But like he gets that taken away from him because he's the Avatar, and we really get to see that a lot once they get to the Air Temple and see that, because there's a whole flashback in that episode.
I really like how they do flashbacks in the series. They're so great. Like in the second season, especially with Lake Laogai or whatever. There's so many flashbacks.
Yeah. All right. So I guess you would rank this episode 1 out of the first 2 that we've seen. It's number 1.
Yeah, I would.
We got okay. So we
How
got
about you?
we got. I think I like this one better than the last one.
Oh, really? That's boring.
Yeah.
You're boring, Alex.
Well, I'm boring.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna slot this in at number 1 out of 2 so far. So if you want to see quite possibly, not number 1 out of 2 next week, because there'll be 3 at least.
It might not be as good.
We're gonna continue on their journey. I think we're gonna get into some filler episodes starting next week.
Yeah, like wait, like what? Like the Kyoshi?
No, that's later in the
Yeah.
season.
Oh.
But we're gonna get into some hijinks.
Oh, I remember like the jungle and stuff.
The jungle.
Yeah,
That-
he
that's
makes
that's the second season.
Are you serious?
Oh wait,
Whatever, we'll find out.
no, yeah, that's the second season because that's when they see Toph. Like he sees the vision of Toph.
Oh,
Anyways,
I forgot about Toph entirely.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, and we see Sokka's dead girlfriend. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely the second season. Okay, so we'll see you guys next time. This has been Why Not with Alex and Ian. If you want to email us, Ian, where do they have to email us?
Oh, why not Alex and Ian? All one word.
No, why not alexian@gmail.com.
No and.
There's no and
At gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
It'll be in the description. So
Right. So if you want to email us, you want any of your thoughts talked about on the podcast, because if you email us, you're going to get a little bit more of the podcast because we're going to have to talk about whatever you send to us.
Yeah. Also, like and subscribe to our video if you liked it. If you didn't like it,
Still like it anyways.
just it helps us.
Like we're a starting out channel, so it'd be a big help.
We'll be able to make more videos.
Like, I mean, honestly, you could just like make a account that's separate from yours, like it, and then
no, you don't have to do that.
I mean, well, they could.
I mean, we could do that, but we're not gonna.
Yeah,
we're not
well,
gonna do that.
That would be kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that would help us grow. Whatever. See you guys in the next episode.
Oh wait, we didn't do the why not. Hashtag why not.
Well, what do you want to hashtag?
Hashtag why not